Welcome to another episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I'm your host, T. Carlita, and on this week's episode, we're going to reach in the archives, and a little inspiration actually came from watching Hip Hop Evolution Season 4, and when they did the Detroit story about hip hop and Jay Dilla's story, I was really excited and actually got motivated to show you Waajeed. He actually interviewed with me a couple of years ago, and we talked about some of the things that he had that was actually launching brand new back then. And he's really like a force to be reckoned with. And I want to make sure that you all know, if you haven't seen that episode, I want to make sure that you see it this week, because he is definitely a master at his craft. And I'm just happy to know that he took time out of his busy schedule and came on my show, him and Khafani. Man, those two together, they make magic on the screen. I'm going to show you their videos as well, but we're going to do Waajeed. And also another archive that we're going to pull out. Another force to be reckoned with, started off young, selling records in the record shop, DJing all over. And I think this brother got over 30 years. I know he has over 30 years of history as a DJ and a producer, and just all around happy guy. When you see him, he's always smiling, and he is bad when you see him with that vinyl. Rick Wilhite interview will also be on this week's episode. So this is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show. Stick around. Waajeed and Rick Wilhite featured on today. You are In My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played. So you started out, like, as far as your career goes, because it says that you learned the ropes through Wilhite music. So you were under the tutelage of who during that time?
Who was the it?
You know, we never reveal our sources.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
is that true?
I mean, it's partly true,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
That's most definitely partly true, yes. But,
you were in diapers then, and they brought you up and raised you into a vinyl man or something?
nah, not quite. No, I mean, it's a lot happening with that. I mean, it's, you know, when I was very young, like riding bikes before you get a permit for a car and all that kind of stuff, you know, most of my journeys were up to the record store with the different ones, you know what I mean? It's a whole lot of them, especially on the west side. But once I got to Wilhite, you know, there was always something I had to buy that was like different than any other store carried. So that always drew me to the store almost every week. So that's like part of the beginning of me ended up actually being in Wilhite personally. You know what I'm saying? It was like a no-brainer. Like, you know, it's like you spend more time up here than you know, anybody I know. You know, I always see you, and you know, and you know this music. So nice. For him to bring me in, it was, you know, meeting this person, meeting that person, and so many people came through Wilhite. I mean, just the best thing I remember about record store in Wilhite is there would always be a celebrity, quote unquote, music artist coming in, you know. And I remember one time it was a line down the street because a diva came to the store to do signing some posters and stuff like that. And it was a line down the street, and it was like a club, you know what I mean? It was
wow.
It was amazing. And then, you know, after that, it was more and more people coming in, but that was like, it was a lot of, you know, who's who was in the store at that time. So that was cool. And you know, when Mojo used to come in there, people didn't know who he was. They were like, you know, the other day he's walking around in the store, and it's like, you know, and just, oh my God, Ken Carr coming in, and
so that was the place, huh?
It was, I mean, just, yeah, it was the place. It was the place, and it was, without it in my life, I probably wouldn't be halfway where I am right now. So guaranteed, that was, 75% of basic knowledge of truth, but it's a little bit more that happened.
But that's a good part of the solid foundation.
Definitely good part of the foundation. So, yeah.
Sweet. So let's talk about the Godson.
Okay.
So how did you get that name?
How did I get that name?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, growing up, I had different names of DJing. Tech 12, DJ DOC, Working Mix Rick. Oh my God, I got a couple other ones.
Okay.
But the point about it, the Godson is, a lot of people just use their name, and some people just go by something, whatever it is, DJ Rocket Ship or whatever. But the Godson is basically, I chose that because of, Godson is pretty much known for family. Has something to do with family. And everyone around me, like I had explained to Hump, I said 33, 4 years of this, I've been around a lot of people close and personal. And I've watched everybody come from what they were into what they are or are not anymore. I've watched it change. I've watched, everything evolve. And I pretty much, since I have that experience and knowledge, I have to have a word for it. So Godfather is too powerful for it to be me because, number one, it's an age factor with that name. And there's only certain people that can carry that name, technically, to a point to where you can agree with it. Some people have used that name the wrong way.
Okay.
But to really call themselves that, you have to have a lot to base your fact on. Why you call yourself Godfather? So with the Godson, it puts me to a better age bracket where I can say I have at least most of that knowledge, most of that experience, but not all. And I can't go any further but up, so the further I go, the more I know.
There you go.
So I just acquire it in, and since God, the first name of it is such a large name, it's for the experience that I have been creating and just, going through my life of events, how can you say, just definitely the music industry, period. Just watching it change and everything like that. It's it needs a name. So that's why I kind of like, and I don't want to belittle anybody. I don't want to put myself above anybody. If you know me and know how long I've been doing a lot of this stuff and how many people are very good, close, personal friends of mine, I just believe it's a name that doesn't fit anybody, and it's only one person can carry it. That's really worth carrying that name.
Right. Okay.
In that aspect, you know what I mean? So
nice.
You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
Welcome, Judge Mathis. Thanks for coming to share an important message with the Wayne County taxpayers.
Well, thank you for allowing me to help. Most of my life I was a resident of Wayne County, and so I'm here to help because Treasurer Chabris wants to work with Wayne County homeowners to keep families in their homes and prevent foreclosure.
If you're having trouble making your property tax payments, let us know. We have many resources to help.
Take the first step towards staying in your home by going down to the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of the International Building in Greektown.
Stop by today to learn more about our payment plans and especially the newly extended interest rate reduction program.
Already in the payment plan? It's important you stay in good standing.
Making property tax payments is now easier than ever. We have placed payment kiosks in Rite Aid stores and community centers across the county. We've also added kiosks in our offices. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com.
Let's talk about your multiple collaborations.
Multiple collabs.
Yeah.
Compilations.
Yeah. So when you do a compilation, when you do your compilations, what do you look for? Like, how do you pick and choose? You know, you got Raybone, you got John Easley, you've done work with Moody Man. You know, how do you? And those are some strong names. So how do you pick who you're gonna do a compilation with? How do they make the cut? I guess is a good way to say it.
Well, okay. That's like, asking KFC what's the 11 herbs and spices. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it like this. Basically, there's so much music that comes into my life from people around me, and I believe it should be out. So I just decided to basically compile as much music as I can from people that should have some music out that, not necessarily is brand new music. And that's one thing about the compilations. The music that's on, especially the first Vibes Comp, the Vibes Comp Part 2, that's the second version of it.
Oh, this is 2.
Yeah, that's Part 2.
This is Part 2.
And but the first one, there's also another one called Connecting the Compass, which is another compilation. It's only vinyl though, but all of these compilations are based on music that should be out by these people, period. And if they're a well-known artist, which like the first Vibes Comp, it has Glenn Underground, Marcellus Pittman, Theo Parrish. It also has T.J. Dumas and Raybone. It has, I believe, me and Raybone, Kyle Hall. Actually, Kyle Hall, one of his first productions is on the Vibes compilation. I mean, it's just like, for instance, the Kyle Hall situation. It was like, this guy needs to be heard. He's gonna, be a good DJ and a good producer coming up, and this needs to be out. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be, coming out later on or never even happening. You need to hear him. I think his track on the Vibes Comp, I believe he was 15 or 16 when he made it.
Wow.
So, you know what I mean? Right. Nobody would take chances on putting out music with people like.
And boy, that young guy is amazing.
Yeah.
Now. Woo!
And it's been some years now because he's like 20 something.
Yeah, he is amazing now. Yes, that's awesome.
And his dad and everything, and Darnell Small and the club. It's like my whole life I've been DJing pretty much with his father, through parties throughout the cities, through the mid 80s, 90s, 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
And here it is, his son is like, wow,
Yes, I'm proud of him. I saw him during movement at the Works.
Yeah.
Didn't know who he was.
Okay.
And he was on the patio deck outside.
Okay.
And he pulled the vinyl. He's young too. And I'm looking at this young guy work the vinyl record. I was like, who is that guy? Yeah. And then Ray was like, "That's my nephew." I'm like, "Oh wow, that's amazing." Yeah, you did good on that one.
Okay, well, I'm
glad. Did good on that one for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
Right. So let's talk about you got your own thing.
My own album.
Let's talk about that. After all working around everybody else, you were motivated to do something on your own, eh?
Yeah.
What's this called? This is called Analog Aquarius. Okay.
Aquarium.
Aquarium? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Analog Aquarium.
Yes.
Got it right. Thank you very much.
The Tank of Music.
The Tank of Music. Okay.
Yes. Pretty much, I mean, it's on Still Music. Let's just start off with that. And basically, the guy that's behind Still Music name is Jerome Daraji. And he really pressed me to put an album out. He's the one that said, I just need to do it. I never really wanted to do an album. I just always wanted just to either remix stuff, edit it, just be somebody in the shadows, you know what I mean? And just, I'm happy with that. But he was like, no, you just go ahead and just put out an album, something that you really want people to hear. And I said, okay. So, bam, I started just thinking. It took a minute for me to get it together because I really didn't know what tracks I wanted to put on it or what I wanted to do. But me and Billy Love would just think of some stuff, and I just started making some music, and it just started sounding good. So,
okay.
And
they say the rest is history.
Right, the rest is, and one of the tracks, me and Osalade and Theo Parrish were in a Red Bull Music Academy. Okay. And that's kind of like where that song sprouted out of.
Okay, that's the first track, Blame It on the Boogie.
Blame It on the Boogie.
Okay, well, we're going to get into Blame It on the Boogie.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna get off into that on the flip side. After we finish, we're going to let the world hear Blame It on the Boogie, and then I'll surf the other tracks and back it up with something else. Okay. Or swim through, rather. How about that? Hey. So how can people reach you?
How can they reach me? Well,
or do you want to be reached?
No, it depends on, I'm not really open just to be reached. But I'm probably more available than anybody else around here. So
okay. I know where to find him. He's around. You'll see him when you see him. Holler at him when you see him.
But still, if you look at the book me, you can use Cleo at mahogany.com, and that's CLEO. Okay. If you had to have it,
Okay.
And mahogany is spelled with it NI and not a.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
All right.
And other than that, Beautiful Sunday.
Yeah.
You can always catch me at Beautiful Sunday.
My House, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.
It's coming sooner than you think. Yeah, we know that 2020 is just getting kicked off, and May 17th is not too far away. Hair Wars presents Hair Stars and Hot Cars at the Ford Community and Performing Arts Center on Michigan Avenue and Greenfield Road in Dearborn, Michigan. It's a Detroit thing, it's a car thing, it's a hair thing, and it's a music thing. Brought to you by Ampro Pro Style, In My House Techno Music Show, and Premier Supportive Services is Hump the Grinders Hair Wars, starring some of the greatest hair entertainers in the world. Plus, we're going to be honoring some of Detroit's race car legends. If the weather's right, we'll be doing a photo shoot outside from 2 to 5. Doors open at 5 for the big screen show, and Hair Wars goes live at 6:05. The drinks will be flowing. Food by D'Angelo Soul Food. It's going to be off the hook. Get your tickets online, www.hairwarsustour.com, right here.
I'm so grateful.
All right, this is T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show, and it is a true honor and a privilege to have two of the most talented brothers this side of Detroit, Michigan, USA. Brother Khafani and Brother Waajeed. What's up, guys?
What up, though? What up, though?
See? That's what I'm talking about. So, I'm kind of speechless because I've been following Khafani for about, oh man, I think 6 or 7 years now, or maybe longer, watching you dance all over the place. I have my camera following you. And Waajeed, I met you a couple of times, you know, here and there, but we never really had a chance to just like get together. So timing is of the essence, and it's all perfect.
Always.
But what I really I guess want to say stalking and making sure I got you in here when you guys put out that first video off your Shango EP. And when I saw it, I was like, this guy right here, that was the right one. So just first of all, before we go into Shango, before we go into all of this stuff, how did you always know each other, or how'd you guys connect? That's what I want to know.
Well, speaking of stalking,
Okay.
it was a period of time that after I created Shango and all the deep inspiration that kind of came from it, which is multiple layers, more time we got to talk today.
Okay.
I did some research and to find out who Khafani was. And I called around several sources, and folks was like, yeah, it's this guy. He's he's mysterious. So, so there was some difficulty finding him. But as soon as I hooked up with Strings from Hardcore, he directed me to Khafani, and it was pretty much easy after that. I knew Khafani's dancing from Rhythm Kitchen.
Way back in the
back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember he had like a really unique style of dancing then, and I had seen little bits and videos of him here and there, and the track was so unique. I felt like it needed to be balanced by someone as unique. So that's how I began my stalking of trying to find out who.
Stalking can pay off eventually, right?
I mean, it did pay off. The last 2 videos. So.
And speaking of Strings, they were on the show. Strings has been on my show a few times, actually. And they call you the Grandmaster of cultural dance. Is that
yeah,
right?
it actually came about from dancing, and I'm real technical, I guess you could say, and I pride myself on musicality. Okay. Most people don't know it's really Grandmaster. It's like I wanted to throw some Japanese vibe in there. It's like you hear people say Wakari Master, but it's Grandmaster Khafani, because people were talking about the form, and most people dance, and I said no, this is my form of dance. For me learning and everything. I was happy when Strings called me, because I was like about the track of the G. He sent it to me, and we were in between listening to the tracks. He was sending me a track and everything, and he was laughing because when I first heard it, I was like, yo, this sounds like Godzilla walking through Africa. And he bust out laughing. He's like, yo, that's like about the best synchro. So that track, and that especially with that the sound coming in and how the beat comes in, people don't know how much it's layered, and that's why even me and myself, I said, no, I have to dance.
That's amazing. And the video, the concept of the video, who's the brainchild behind the? Well, it's yours, of course, but. In the mastermind of yourself, what made you even go that direction? Because I know you have a nice hip-hop background, you have a photography, you have like you said, it ain't enough to talk about in 1 hour. But you come from the J Dilla circuit, you come from Slum Village, you come from Detroit, pure hip-hop, and now you're doing this, which I don't even know what to really, like, nobody really, I don't know if you put it in a category, so to speak.
No, I just put it in the category of greatness.
Yeah.
And good music, right?
Yeah, you know, like there are two categories: crap music and great music.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the truth. Yeah.
So
Okay.
those are the only genres that really exist to me as a student of Mojo. So,
Mojo again.
yeah.
Mojo's been mentioned twice, or a lot of times on this show. So he,
Mojo might get mentioned a couple more times during the show. I mean,
no, Mojo
you gotta
won't
get
come. You know Mojo don't come out.
They just called.
No, it's so funny though. We'll go back for 1 second. A number of names was on here, right? And they were telling this story how they got their name, and it was Mojo and Jim McFarland gave them the name. But what was interesting, it was a thunderstorm when they were here in the studio. I'm telling you the truth. As soon as we start talking about Mojo, why did at that moment the whole rumble just hit? You can hear it in the background. We was like, "Hey, Mojo, you hear? You hear? Okay, we got it." But so when you sat down and thought about putting the track together, so how did you go from track to the visual? Because something that I want to just say thank you so much for bringing the music to a visual life.
Absolutely.
Because
That's
all of our
important.
music, all of our music is good, it's clubby, it feels good, it's concert, it's festival, but we don't, you know, we grew up on video.
There's no visual representation.
There's no visual representation.
That's so important that you mentioned that, because, you know, as a student of Mojo and a student of the scene, watching black people dance, you know, to the most modern music possible, you know what I'm saying, has always been in my vocabulary. So as a way of paying respect to that, it was necessary to shoot a video for Shango. And I hit up my homeboy Max from New York, and pretty much like we just played it by ear, you know, and we walked around, and I feel like the locations found us instead
Actually,
of us finding the
even on
locations.
both, it's just the Most High, you know, like bringing it all together, the locations we did and how we did the energy. They were like, bring a few outfits, and as soon as he came out, I saw the joystick. I was like, yo, I got this red, black, and green one. He was like, yeah, Bop, that's the one.
Yeah.
So I got my crown. I was like, cool, Bop, that's the one. And so everything just came together, and I'm glad that we let the Most High bring it together, because sometimes you can plan stuff and it doesn't go, but it all came out so smooth.
We know who the best planners are.
Oh yeah, we do.
I mean, I know we do. But y'all need to know it ain't gonna work until it's supposed to. That's why they sit here now.
No, matter of fact, just to go back, when we made the last video, it was a point. Remember the time we chilled and we crashed for a second, and after I said, you know, Tim, she mentioned something about us getting on the radio show. She said, you know what, when I'm doing a little traveling, we'll get back together and maybe we'll come on. We spoke on it.
We did. Yeah, the last video shoot.
On the last video shoot. Yeah,
wow, that's awesome. And then I ran into you at Charivari.
Yep.
And I said, you know, I got to get y'all. He was like, hook it up. Let me know. We can make it happen. I said, we got to make it happen.
Absolutely.
So I do believe in divine order. There's nothing greater than that. So,
absolutely.
And that's the truth. So. But that is really, really amazing. So that's good. So when you sat down and you thought about it, we're going to fast track to forward. But where did you come? What inspired you to do the Shango? What was the inspiration behind it? I mean, besides the Mojo and the scene, but it has something else.
The actual track Shango, you mean?
Yes.
You know, I could. I mean, there's too much to name.
Okay.
A combination of. I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things, and that's why this sound is so unique. I feel it's a combination of hip hop. It's a combination of our mother Africa. It's a combination of Detroit influenced techno music, and most of all, you know what? Like a lot of tracks I can say that I pulled a little bit from here and I pulled a little bit from here. But this particular one, I feel like it was some divine instrumentation happening with this track.
Okay.
I feel like I was an instrument of Shango, and the rest of the divine richness that you know, like, gave me. I won't even say the inspiration. They used me to create this track. You know what I'm saying? It's so yeah, it's spiritual.
A little bit of ancestral channeling.
Oh yeah.
Because you know what is that instrument?
Like a mug.
What's that instrument where you that? Oh my God.
Yeah. It was something that just said that, you know, like, this is what's supposed to be used. These are the colors that you're using.
Okay.
This is the person that you're using, meaning this brother and Max.
And these the locations y'all gonna do it at.
And just shut up and get out the way.
Yeah.
So there's some times where you drive and most of it, and there's some times where you need to be in the passenger seat. Yeah. And I was totally in the passenger seat. I've been in the passenger seat for these last 2 EPs.
That's awesome. Yeah. So let's give the people who, if y'all haven't seen this yet, we're gonna let them see what we talking about, and hopefully you guys will be inspired to do great things and just feel what I felt when I first saw it. And I was just telling Khafani, over time, when I first watched it, like, it felt so right there. You know, even through a computer screen, I felt so much energy coming off of it.
Even the camera back, and I don't want to say piggyback, the more I say that we shouldn't say it, so it's hilarious. Even the camera back off of what he was saying, during that time, I know it's for the Most High, because literally during that time, that's during my fasting of Ramadan. So
right.
I don't.
We need to mention that as well. That's a big thing.
I don't really dance, so it was down to a movement. People wanted me to do things. I'm turning down money. I'm like, no, I don't do this. And then strings was like, yo, he said, I know, because strings isn't even really dance. He said, if you want to do it, but I even prayed on it and just felt right. So literally the day, it was one of the hottest days during that time.
In the summer.
I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking water or anything. It was like, yo, can we get some? I was like, no, that's right. So literally, they were messing with us, so we shot it in segments and parts. So literally, when you see, everything you see is coming from me, it's coming from me. So there was a whole link to that there and everything. And so that people are feeling that energy too, the energy of Shango, the energy of the bead, the energy of fasting. And then somebody, and so most people don't really realize I don't dance. Like he says, he uses the body as a form. When I move, it's in praise of God. Cause you know, I don't, even if you see me dance, people are like, why do you always stay on beat? I can't dance off beat. You know what I mean? Even it's and when I'm teaching house, I say it's in the house. And if you step out of the house, you stepped off beat. So most people don't even realize. Most people don't even realize that. Even most of the dancers, quote unquote, house dancers now, a lot of them know movements, but they don't know how to stay on beat. Back in the day, you had to be on beat.
Yeah, that was definitely required.
Well, oh yeah.
And if you didn't, you're gonna be stepping on somebody's toes.
If you didn't, you wouldn't be in my house.
Oh, yeah.
That's so true. So on that note, let's take a look at this awesome, phenomenal video by this guy right here with the ultimate dancer right here. That's a big word, man. But we're going to talk about that later. All right, this is T. Carlita. Check out Shango. We'll be right back to talk about the next EP. Ooh, how about that? What's happening now? T. Carlita for the In My House Techno Music Show, where the true stories are told and great music is definitely played.
I'm joined today by Maureen Taylor and Louis Pisker to let you know about a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office.
Do you know someone, family or friends, that need help with finances? Do you know people having trouble making ends meet, especially with property taxes or other payments? The Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help. Treasurer Sabri invites you to visit the new Financial Empowerment Center, 400 Monroe, on the 5th floor in downtown Detroit.
We've partnered with the Wayne County Treasurer's Office and the City of Detroit to provide free one-on-one financial counseling to help you address problems related to utility bills, property or income taxes, credit repair, and other financial matters. Our professional counselors can also help you plan your monthly budget and increase your credit score.
This service is available to all Wayne County residents. For free and private financial counseling, contact the center at 313-322-6222 and make an appointment today.
All right, so we are back with Khafani, Grandmaster, and see, I learned something too, and Waajeed, aka Gito, right? Yeah, I don't forget.
Only my close friends call.
Okay,
I'm close.
There you go.
Y'all start. Don't get it twisted.
On the internet, don't call me Gito.
Please don't.
Please.
All right, so let's talk about the art form of dance, and like I said, I've been following you, watching you, and let's talk about when you're in your zone. And I've seen you in your zone on several occasions. So what happens when you're in your zone and people just decide, hey, or they try to get your attention? How do you respond? It's like, almost like when the DJ is in his zone and somebody want to ask, can you play a Beyonce, but this is a techno party? So, shaking your head off. Can you play that remix though? It's got to be the remix, then that way it fits. But so what happens when you're in your zone and people try to get your attention?
People, even when we go back, it's deep that it's on Shango. When you go back to the drum and you think about thunder and lightning, the DJ or the composer and the dancer always met. When I was learning Congolese dance and even down on technique, they said, and the dancer must sooner or later become a drummer. So it's like that relationship going. So I know when people, even when I came to him, I waited for when he was DJing. When he looked back at me, I was like, yeah. Or I think I greeted you in front of you, like, yeah, gave you a pound. Like, so when I'm dancing and when I get in my zone, people don't really realize it's not me dancing to music. It's the music moving through me.
Okay.
So when people disturb that, it disturb me, and it really disturbs me. And most times, at times, I have to say truthfully, it's either the drunkest person or the craziest person, or some people would just want to touch me. Matter of fact, at the last gig that he was doing, it was one man and audience. I'm getting it in. I'm dancing. Or G was playing a track, it was banging. I'm getting it in. It's bad enough we in that little walkway where you can only get a little room up. She grabs me and touches me, and I'm like, yo. And she was like, oh, excuse me. And she paused for a second. I was like, what? She's like, you move so much like that guy in Shango video. Do you know him? I was like, that is me. That is. She was like, oh shit, it is you. And she said, when I saw you moving, it had to be. But what was good about me, what made me feel good, it's a distinctness to his music right now. And to be in Detroit with all the years of techno house, to have a distinct sound is not easy. And then for me to be a distinct dancer, and for her to see me, and say, you move like him, and then she was like, yo, so that's that's a real good thing, and that tells you it's taking you all the way back to those, people call it ancestral roots, but I call it one of the first formulas learned in 5% is constant elevation causes expansion. And really that whole expansion right there is right there. So, yeah. People offend me. Sometimes they do it. I've offended some people sometimes. Sometimes I have to apologize to people afterward, because when they do that, I'm trying to finish this move. Yeah. That the music is dictating. You don't stop Picasso. Like you making a beat. Somebody come in like this. I hate that about DJs. Usually when a DJ is in there, I come and get in my pocket. Sometimes a DJ be in his zone, and then they agree with me. I let them be in that place, because most people don't really realize what they do is spiritual.
It is spiritual.
There are 5 divisions in the reality that it comes from sound, silence, light, sound, to vibration, to matter, and they're getting more. But you don't realize they're getting this from silence.
Yeah.
So where is it coming from? Where did I wanted to ask you, where did you get the bam 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 and especially in Shango, and what was the first sound that like drew you, or how did you build?
Hey, you done my job. No,
I just wanted to ask him, and me and him came.
Well, I'm so glad that we got a platform for you to do this. So, what he said. I was wondering about that too.
The honest question is, I don't know.
Oh. Good answer.
Steve, that's the best answer.
That's the best answer.
That's the most honest answer, because there are tracks that you remember making in my career, and then there are things that I don't remember making at all. I wake up the next day and there's something in front of me. So it's like magic. You know?
Yeah, it made you.
It made me. So Shango was definitely one of those tracks where I don't remember hitting a note on the keyboard. And I know that might sound weird to people out there listening, like, you know what I'm saying, like some ghost production. Is he doing, you know, is he putting somebody else?
That's really good.
The most production,
you know, and
I think that's why, you know, when you do something from your inner soul, inner gut, that's the stuff that really resonates and hits people that are enlightened to see and hear and understand. It hits you in a certain way that just something random is different. It's very different. So I understand spirituality, and I mean, when you go back to ancestral forms of vibrations and music, and we come from the most spiritual man created. So I understand that part. So I understand. And I'm glad you asked that question. And I hope that you accept the answer you received.
I wish I had more.
No. But you know what? I perfectly understand, because sometimes people be like, "What made you do that move or that movement? What made you
don't know.
Go on your toes?" And I don't remember. Some people say,
"You right
do you remember when you?" And I'll be like, "No, I was just literally literally in it, and letting the music play through me."
I'll say this: somebody asked me, because the gig that you're talking about, where this woman walked up to, was the most recent gig here in Detroit, called Detroit Love, which is something that's put together by Carl Craig and curated by he and his wife and his team, and they pick Detroit-based or Detroit-centric DJs to play at one place. And this is probably one of the best parties I've ever played at in my career in terms of just vibrations, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody bringing their top game, you know what I'm saying? Because they know the person in the next room is really going at it. And I happened to play with Jay Daniel, big up to Jay Daniel, that night, and Jay set it off. So it was just like, okay,
the bar was already there.
I already got the layup, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my responsibility to bring it home. And, you know, I knew that you was coming, so the energy was high, but I'm saying that to say, a guy asked me my track list for that night. And it's just like, bro, I don't even know what I played.
Hope somebody recorded it, because I really don't know.
You know, and this is very true to what we do. I feel like when you do what you do for out of a place of respect and gratitude and praise towards the Most High for giving you this opportunity, you're not making a list about what you do to get there. You know what I'm saying? It's like they say he's making a list, he's checking it twice. Like, no, we're not making no list. We're just doing this, you know what I'm saying, because it's in celebration of our ancestors and, you know, like our just gratitude to be able to do this job.
And that concludes this week's episode of the In My House Techno Music Show. I hope you enjoyed digging in the archives as much as I do. Also, I wanted you guys to set your calendar. Friday, May 22nd, Movement Weekend. We do our 5-hour live broadcast. I'm going to try to do it again this year through the Facebook Live, but I'll also be recording each DJ segment. We're going to do something a little different this year. We're going to actually interview the DJs as well as allow them to play. I don't have a full list of who's on schedule yet, That is still developing. I'm waiting to confirm everyone, but stay tuned to our music alerts and you will know as soon as we have that ready. So this is T. Carlita. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this show as much as I enjoy putting it together. I'll see you around.
You are in my house, hosted by T. Carlita, where the true stories are told and great music is played.